So basically the chord changes are going from A minor or A minor 7, and I'm just using, it's really an A minor 7 chord. So open 5th string, 2nd fret on the 4th string, open 3rd string, 1st fret on the 2nd string, and then high string open. But just, if all you're going to do is play some of that chord, you can just grab the 5th, 3rd, and 1st strings and get the essence of that chord. And then a D7, taking this D7 chord is what I'm sort of basing it around, and thinking of that as, here's a C, and here's a C7 with the pinky going on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, and then that gets slid up. There's your D7. So the chord progression: A minor, D7 to F, and I'm just basically taking 3 notes of an F chord and the root and A minor. But what makes her arrangement sound so cool is that she makes that little 2-bar chord progression that she puts underneath the straight pentatonic melody, and you hear this little line moving internally. She goes from a D chord to an F chord. So you hear this note being played on the 3rd string open, but essentially this to this to this to this as she goes through the A minor 7 chord, the D chord with the root left out, an F chord, and then back to this note as part of an A minor. So I just think it's really beautiful. And so that's the way that these chords are getting framed with that little descending line. And then two of those suspended chords I mentioned. So starting in the same place and then going to this shape, which is the 2nd fret on the the 7th fret on the 3rd string, the 8th fret on the 2nd string, and then the 5th fret on the high string. So it's taking an A minor 7 and suspending it. You can picture like this chord, like an A minor bar chord. Just hide my finger there, but basically that, but on top, just these notes, and then there's the 7th, and then there's the suspension. So from here, and then a pull off to the open high string to get the melody note, and then an E minor suspended chord. Then the next phrase, starting on the 5th bar, basically just more A stuff. And then here's the full D7 chord. And it's one of those nice fingerstyle guitar things where the melody lies on 3 different strings. So the high string open, the 5th fret on the 3rd string, and the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. That's the melody that's going, but it's being laid out on 3 strings. And with the bass at the beginning. Then F, E suspended, and then a really cool piano blues lick. And that's just starting with the 5th and the root, or just 5th fret on the top 2 strings, and then going to the flat 5, the blues note, and pulling off to from the 4th fret to the 3rd fret, while you still get the high string at the same time. Flat 3rd, useful lick in anything, electric blues or fingerstyle, anything. It's related to a Buddy Guy lick, which actually I remember being in Matt Umanov Guitars on Bleecker Street in New York back when I lived in Brooklyn. And they would like just up on the counter they had a little TV, and they would run they would like put in videos and just sort of let them run with the sound down or with the sound really quiet because people were trying out guitars and stuff. And I remember seeing the Buddy Guy video, and he actually said, and that's a lick that I had learned from Buddy Guy Records way back and always was like one of my favorite things. And he would either play it singly like this, or he would play a double stop. All that kind of stuff. And really what it is he's playing these pentatonic blues licks in A, starting on the 7th fret of the 4th string, and then going over to the 5th fret of the 3rd string, 7th fret of the 3rd string, and then hammering on to the 8th fret and back. So all that kind of business rearranged in various different ways, but every time he's picking, not when he's hammering on or pulling up, but when he's picking, he's also getting the high string, 5th fret on the high string, the root, but he's doing it with a pick, so he's probably, I guess he's doing this. I mean, he generally plays with a pick, so it must be a hybrid grip thing with the pick here and then the ring finger or whatever's comfortable grabbing the high string. So when you make a little bar across the top 3 strings. So if you're going to hammer on pull off, then you just pinch the one time with the high string. Or if you're going to hammer on, that's a big part of it, just to grab the 3rd and 1st string at the 5th fret. Sometimes he'll just grab the high string and then go into the rest of it. But anyway, on this video that I saw, that was the point. He said that he had heard, I don't know, he heard Otis Spann or some other piano player do a move like that and really dug it. So he worked that out. Someone else you can hear do it a lot on piano is Oscar Peterson. And he'll do it in a major key more, and it works better. The Oscar Peterson things work a little better out of this shape that I used for the Nina Simone thing. So because he'll do sort of a major thing, it's kind of a stretch down here. But if you did it like in the key of E, so it's cool because you can go from the major one, and it's the same idea. You got the pinky on top, 12th fret on the high string if you're doing it in E, and then you're sliding, you're coming into this shape. Picture that E bar chord, just 7th fret and then 9th fret across the middle strings, and then pinky on top if you go to this version of it. So, and then meanwhile, while you're holding down the root on the high string, your index finger slides from the 9th to the 10th fret on the 2nd string, which is from the flat 3rd to the 3rd of the chord, and then 10th fret, 11th fret, 12th fret. And so when I'm thinking of it as like a piano or Oscar Peterson thing, I'll strum it and play it a little more staccato. So he'll go there because if you're over the E, that's what works over the A. Because it's that old thing of like taking the major 3rd on E and then ducking it a half step when you go to the A chord, the 4 chord. So that's the idea. So back in A, it's just a way of getting that double stop. So in the context of the Nina Simone thing, just as at the end of, she tends to put in these little answering licks as ways to keep time between the melodies. So, and then here's an answering lick. And then that suspended thing is really kind of a little answering lick too. And then there's no real time for one there. And then you've got a bar here for some response. So it is kind of within the context of the song. There's a little call and response where she'll play a bit of the melody and then keep some time. It's very different from sort of the boom chicka alternating thumb stuff, which I love. It's just sort of and that's one of the things that's nice about adapting something from a piano style in this case, and a later piano style. I mean, obviously a lot of the boom chick guitar stuff is itself maybe an adaptation of different kinds of early blues piano stuff. But in this case, the piano style that Nina Simone's doing is a lot more floaty, and the time is more implied, and so that's an interesting thing to try to tackle as a guitar player, because we're so used to filling up any available space that to sort of let things hang is a little unusual. So that's without any of the filling in licks. And then so that's just a different way of thinking about that tune than the sort of typical vampy way of thinking about it, which is just an alternative. So if you're digging around for versions of this to listen to, I think my all-time favorite version is there's a version by Sister Rosetta Tharpe, the gospel singer and guitarist, mostly recorded in the 40s, I think, and the singing on it is just to die for. It's just a fantastic vocal. It's great. So that's worth hunting down too. Anyway, that's this week's post. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.